A rising amount of threats against Jewish Americans in recent weeks.
Complete coverage now. We will be speaking with one of the organizers of this event, Julie Platt, will be joining us live in moments about what she wants to see come out of all of this.
But first, to our team of reporters, Griff Jenkins on the reaction that he is hearing from rallygoers, and Mark Meredith, who starts us off with the very latest from the National Mall. Who are we expecting to hear from this hour, Mark?
Oh, John, we've got a long list of speakers, those in some in Congress, some entertainers, but also we're going to be hearing from those people that are most impacted by what's happened ever since early October, the families of those who have basically been waiting every hour to get an update on their loved ones' conditions, those that have still been held hostage there in Gaza. As far as what we've seen here on the National Mall, it is Israeli and American flags as far as the eye can see. Tens of thousands of people have been piling in since about 10 a.m., and the crowd's still coming in at this hour. The official program will get underway in just a few minutes from now. But John, you asked, I might as well tell you who is going to be speaking. We are going to be hearing from the Israeli president. He's going to be delivering a remote address. We're also going to be hearing from the new House Speaker as well as top congressional Democrats who will talk about what can be done to show Americans' continued support for Israel. As you and Sandra mentioned off the top, security has been top of mind here, given not only the large crowd that is here, but also because of the anti-Semitic attacks and threats that we've seen rise ever since early October. We had a chance to catch up with the organizers just a few hours ago to ask them how they were feeling going into an event that just as of a few weeks ago was not even going to exist. And they say they're very proud to see this community, the Jewish American community, come together.
Is just incredibly hurtful and is like another punch in the gut. But thankfully, there are thousands and thousands of Americans who stand with us, who stand with Israel, who stand against anti-Semitism, who stand for the immediate release of the hostages.
And that's one thing that we've heard over and over again from some of the speakers in the pre-program is that remember the hostages. And John, I think it was also most striking is so many of the different signs that are in the audience. There are people holding up saying, Cleveland loves Israel, Miami loves Israel, Atlanta loves Israel. People coming from hours away, hundreds of miles. I was hearing about buses being chartered, possibly even a plane being chartered to bring people here to the National Mall. And John, you may be asking, well, why Tuesday? Why would they do this kind of in the middle of the week? Most people have to work. Well, the organizers said they wanted to make sure members of Congress who work right in the building behind us could see for themselves how Jewish Americans are feeling and what their continued questions are and, of course, their concerns. John.
A lot of people coming, not the president or the vice president, though. The president is winging his way to the West Coast. We didn't hear why the vice president's not coming. Mark Meredith Sports. Mark, thank you. Senator.
John, Mark, thank you. Let's go to our national correspondent, Griff Jenkins. He is in the crowd now. Griff, what are you seeing and hearing?
Well, Sandra, I'm seeing tens of thousands. I don't know what the numbers are going to be, but I've been covering these rallies and marches on the mall for more than 20 years, and you can, let me see where we are. We're literally, I wanted to find the rear. See people coming for as long as we could see. In fact, this family here came down from New York. What's your name?
Jonathan.
Adi. Why did you come down?
I mean, this is really important for us. We got to represent our brothers and sisters, not only here in the States, but overseas in Israel. Nothing more important than this at this point.
Jonathan, why is it important?
It's important because there's a lot of misinformation going on around out there, and I think people don't understand that we are people of peace. And for us, the message is peace and love. We don't want war. We don't like what's going on in not only the media, but all around the world, that people are misrepresenting what the Jewish faith is all about, what Jewish people are about, and we support our people in Israel.
Adi, you're here with your children, your family. Why are you here, and what do you want the younger people to understand about today?
Well, I mean, we're here because we're marching for our homeland.
Gotta take a break. Miss June's calling.
Level 1 security is being taken very seriously.
At the doctor's office with her little legs, bless her heart. Keep her in your prayers. And keep me in your prayers. We both need them.
To get into the event.
All right, Griff, we will check back in with you again shortly. Quite a crowd there assembled at the National Mall. Thank you. John?
Quite a crowd indeed. Sandra, let's bring in Julie Platt. She is the chair of the Jewish Federation.
I love to see this crowd. I wish I was there with them.
For today's rally. Quite a turnout there, Julie. And you may be having a little bit of a problem hearing me because I know the volume's probably pretty loud. What do you want to come out of this gathering today?
the people of Israel. What we're praying for is exactly what we see. Hundreds of thousands of Jews and allies coming together to express their solidarity with Israel, to speak out loudly against anti-Semitism, and to make it clear that we must bring the hostages home. We dreamed of how many people might come, and this will far exceed our wildest dreams. There are people all the way down the National Mall. We needed to come together, and they showed up. And we are so thrilled to create this community for the North American Jewish community.
God bless America.
Yeah, this really stands in sharp contrast with a lot of demonstrations that we've been seeing in big cities across America, on college campuses across America. And it's interesting that there are reports that this has been designated by the Department of Homeland Security as a level 1 security risk, which is on the same level as the Super Bowl. What does it say that in America, in 2023, a rally against anti-Semitism, a rally in support of the hostages, is a security risk?
We stand here firm against I can't really believe where we are in this moment, that this would require this kind of security. On the other hand, we wanted to make sure that everyone felt safe, felt able to bring their children, their parents, their grandparents here to safely gather. So we implored security across the city of Washington, D.C. to stand with us and to provide that security so that we could safely stand up against anti-Semitism. And I think this is the strongest possible way to make that point and make it safely.
Amen.
So there was a large amount of bipartisan support there at the rally. I know that the Speaker of the House, Johnson, is going to be there. The Senate Majority Leader, Chuck Schumer, is going to be there, along with other bipartisan members of Congress. Notably absent, though, the Vice President and the President. The President left a short time ago for the APEC Summit in San Francisco. He lands there at 1:45 in the afternoon, but he doesn't have anything until 6:45 at night, and that is a campaign reception. Would you have liked the President to delay his departure for a couple of hours so that he could be there?
But we know the college and university presidents. Honestly, the only thing I can say is that I am grateful that we have bipartisan support for the state of Israel and in the fight against anti-Semitism. And for us today, the person who is speaking for us from President Biden's administration is Ambassador Deborah Lipstadt, whose goal is to join us in this very important fight against anti-Semitism. She is the best possible person to speak on behalf of President Biden because she is our partner in this work.
All right. How troubled are you by what you see in these demonstrations that I mentioned across the country, and particularly on college campuses that have risen up in the wake of October the 7th and Israel's response to it? There are many Jews in America who say, wow, we are hearing echoes of 1938 here. And that is an unbelievably dark place for this country to be going.
Wow. I don't want to go there. I want to tell you that our government, our law enforcement, the members of every state, local, municipality, and government are with us. I don't think this is 1939 Germany. This is the United States of America. I think there are loud voices against us. I think we are awfully mighty, as you can see on the National Mall. We are loud and mighty and will make this horrible moment in American history go away.
Well, loud certainly is a good way to describe it, and certainly crowded. Julie Platt, thank you so much for joining us.
It is very loud right now. Thank you.
We'll let you get back to the rally. Thank you so much. Wow, Sandra.
Thank you so much.
Sandra, that's an unbelievable crowd there today.
Yeah, and one of the things coming up is going to be a segment on the stage, a hostage segment. It's going to be led by actress Deborah Messing. On stage, she's going to have the mother and some of the family members of some of the hostages. We will certainly be meeting for that. Ambassador Herzog will give a greeting. A lot of really important things will be happening, and members of Congress, both sides of the aisle. So we are going to be getting in and out of some of these live events as they happen there in Washington, John.
It really is amazing because when you consider that over the weekend there was 180,000 people that marched in Paris, which stood for anti-Semitism, or against anti-Semitism rather, which really stood in sharp contrast to the anti-Israeli rallies that we had seen across the country, and people were saying, well, where's the rally against anti-Semitism here in the United States? They're doing it in Paris, why aren't they doing it here? So to see what's going on in the National Mall today really, I think, is a powerful answer to what we've seen in this.
Amen. Powerful answer. I'd love to be right there with them. So would Miss June.
Talk to her, ask her thoughts, and also what she thinks about the absence of our top leadership in the country, the president and vice president not in attendance there today. All right, meanwhile, as the March for Israel gets underway there in Washington, President Biden says a deal to free hostages held by Hamas.
The Speaker of the House is there. He is our main one, and he is a wonderful Christian, Bible-believing man.
Israel releases new footage of Hamas tunnels under Gaza's Shifa hospital. Trey Yangst is reporting there live in southern Israel for us at this hour. Trey, what is the latest from the battlefield?
Yeah, hey Sandra, good afternoon. 39 days into this conflict between Israel and Hamas, Hamas has maintained their abilities to fire rockets toward major population centers in southern and central Israel. Earlier this evening, sirens were sounding in Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv, sending hundreds of thousands of people to bomb shelters. Inside the Gaza Strip, fierce battles rage on between Israeli forces and Hamas militants. We understand 47 Israeli soldiers have been killed since the ground operation began about 2.5 weeks ago. The Israelis say they are now in operational control of the Al-Shati camp in the northern part of Gaza. This was largely considered to be a Hamas headquarters and a stronghold for the organization inside the Strip. Much of that fighting continues to take place inside Gaza. We do expect the coming days and weeks to be very difficult for the Israelis as they look to capture more territory and try to get civilians out of the way. They are continuing their air campaign against the Gaza Strip, targeting the Jabalia camp yesterday. Now, the Palestinians say 31 people were killed in that strike. We don't know the breakdown, though, of civilians versus militants. The Israelis once again saying today their main target is Hamas leadership. Sandra.
All right, Trey Yangst reporting live there from southern Israel for us. We'll see you again soon, Trey. Thank you. John?
They looked at Floyd Bennett Field, which is in the middle of nowhere in Brooklyn, and they go, I don't want to stay here. I'm not going to stay in a tent. I'm going to go back.
Migrant families refusing to relocate to a newly opened $20 million shelter site in Brooklyn, saying the conditions and location of the site aren't nice enough. New York City Councilman Joe Borelli ahead on how New York City officials should be responding to those demanding better accommodations.
Ask any veteran. 10 out of 10 know the meaning of sacrifice. 10 out of 10 know what it's like to stand for something bigger. And 10 out of 10 know the true value of home. Yet only 3 out of 10 know that right now they can get a home loan for $0 down. That's right, $0 down.
Support our veterans. Amen.
So if you're